Hello Divas, Dudes, and Dolls, I'm Kira Couture, and welcome back to my maxed out, mashed up, and made over little review show, Very Slay, where we go over each and every main stage runway look on RuPaul's Drag Race Global All-Stars. This week, it's the Makeover Challenge, where we saw our 6 remaining queens make over their eliminated sisters from the competition and bring them into their drag aesthetic and walk the runway in a drag family resemblance moment. And you know how these episodes are. These are usually like the excuse to get people out of the competition they're ready to get out of the competition, you know. We do say goodbye to somebody who I think track record wise was the weakest link in the competition. It does make sense for her to be eliminated there. We'll get into all of that over on the Patreon, which you can access that post for free just by joining as a free member. If you want to access artwork and things that are coming down the pipeline, you have to join at a paid level for that. But there. For those who are new to the show, when we get into these looks, if I think that it got the job done, didn't blow me away, but was, passable, we give it an okay. If I absolutely adored it, we give it a slay. And if I thought it was awful and very deserving of being sent home for any reason, or I don't want to look at it ever again, then we give it a nay. And that's all in efforts to find my weekly slay of the day, my favorite look of the episode, which will go head to head up against our current ranked slay of the season, which is Galavaro's Garden of Eden look from episode 1. Whichever look holds that top spot by the end of the season, we've crowned a new winner. We'll get an illustration done by me at some point once things have settled down a little bit more and I'm able to actually really get back into doing art on the reg, which should be pretty soon. Hint, hint. Things are happening, I'm just saying. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into these pairs. First up, we have Queen Kong with Soa Demuse. I think in terms of translating the makeup over to their makeover partner, Queen did one of the best jobs, in my opinion, in just the mug department. This is gorgeous on Soa. I love this hair on her. I love the hair on Queen too. And the makeup is just right on both of them. It's the right tones of highlights face. It's the right eye shape. It's the right brow shape. It works. I think Soa's look is so much better than Queen's. And predominantly because I hate a corset over a stretch fabric gown. I don't think it's flattering. I don't like it at all. It does not work for me. Gold, as we've established on the channel, I love it on Queen. I love it on Soa too. Queen's look looks like an afterthought. Soa's look looks a little bit more intentional. So for me, Soa's really successful in this, but overall as a pair, I think if I was taking just the face into account, it would be a slay. But overall with the looks, I'm just gonna give it an okay because I do not like Queen's. I don't think the cut of the neckline is flattering. It should fully hit the floor. I hate that it doesn't for both of them. That's just a personal preference thing, ultimately. And I don't really like the way the gold is used on Queen's. I wish there would have been better use of the gold besides this coat situation. Then up next, we have Alyssa Edwards and Eva the Queen. I thought this was cute. It's a very 60s mod A-line dress. It's a very simple silhouette. And it's one of those styles of dresses that it kind of just looks fine on everybody because it's so shapeless and such a basic silhouette. It's also a very easy dress to learn how to sew. So I thought it worked. I thought the boa was fine. I like the hair for both of them, but I think honestly, Eva, again, looks better than Alyssa. I think that that's the biggest detriment there. I do like that they have contrasting gloves, and I do like that Eva's got the white to go with the light hair and the white sunglasses, and then Alyssa's got the black hair and the shoes match that all. The styling of these is really solid. But again, I'm not really blown away by either of these looks. It's gonna also be an okay for me. Then up next, we have Kitty Scott Claus and Miranda LeBrow. Now, the outfits, I don't like either of them. It looks fine on Kitty because Kitty's got the figure to kind of fill it out. Miranda has a pretty similar build to me. She's real thin. And so a silhouette like this is not usually the best choice because it looks frumpy. I think on Kitty it works because Kitty's got more of the Rubenesque figure to fill out the look, the dipped in waistline. It's more successful on Kitty than it is on Miranda because on Miranda it has no effect at all. I don't really care for the shoes. The eye masks I think are ugly. No offense to the people who made them. I'm sure you're lovely. I didn't think that Miranda's makeup was horrible. Kitty did a decent job of translating her aesthetic over to Miranda. However, I just did not like the look for either of them. It's a huge miss for me. It's a nay. For me, it was clearly one of the bottom two. Like, you could not get away from that with this episode. Then up next, we have Nelania and Pythia. Easily the best look of the week. Like, from a fashion perspective, a scale perspective, this is, in my opinion, one of the best makeover looks in terms of fashion and just like the general silhouette and scale. Pythia's in particular, the way the rhinestoning is done, it very much gives me Mystique from X-Men, like Rebecca Romaine Mystique. So it kind of makes me want to get a full look like that, you know, because she is kind of giving Mystique in general. She just needed the blue face paint and the yellow eyes. She's got the hair color and she's got the blue. She's right there. And I think Nelania looks great too. I like the color choice for her. I think it's a little more fitting. The way that these coats moved as well was really, really beautiful on the runway. And they clearly won also because of their choreographed performance as they walked. It felt very intentional, everything. The way that they moved was all in sync and in tandem. It was great. I loved it. This was a slay. Up next, we have Tessa and Athena. I honestly, from a fashion perspective, I think these looks were my personal favorite, just in terms of like my personal aesthetic. I just love like a black and white stark moment. So I think that's just why I gravitated towards it. Both of these are things I would wear. Tessa's look, I think, is not as successful as Athena's, but I do think there is like a good dynamic between the two. I wish there had been some element of black in Athena's just to make them go together more. I wish like maybe the collar piece and the cape had been in black and then the base dress was still in white. Something like that I think would have worked a little bit better. I will say I did clock that this is literally the wig that Tessa wore with the food runway a couple episodes ago. But it's simple enough that it's not like so idiosyncratic that you can clock it unless you like see all the looks in full like I do and look at them every single week. Athena's look is her hair from the design challenge. So I think it's just one of those things you notice it over time. I love what she did with Athena's makeup. I think, again, on a personal preference level, this is one of my favorites this week. She doesn't necessarily look like one-to-one like Tessa, but she's got the Tessa base eye and the lash shape and the liner shape. She's got the elements there. And the way she contoured Athena's face makes her so much softer than she normally paints. It really makes her look incredibly feminine, and I am very here for it. I think she looks great. So for me, this was a slay. I don't care if they were in the bottom three. I adored this. And then finally at the end, we have Vanity Vane and Gallavaro. And I think conceptually, theirs is the weakest. The construction of the jackets is not great. It's clearly not fitting either of them all that well. I think that just the general silhouette isn't really fully there. There's just something about it that isn't sitting right with either of them for me. Like, Gala's jacket looks too large for her in terms of width. Vanity's looks a little bit too long for a bolero. And then I really don't like the contrasting shoe idea. I just don't think it works. I wish they would have just both been in a white boot with the laces to match. That would have been more successful than it being like each in a black and a white. So for me, this is also an A. Now that we've gone over the looks, it's time to pick my slay of the day, my favorite look out of the episode. And for me, it's clear that the best look out of this episode is Nelania and Pythia. There was just no holding a candle to these. We're going to take this set of looks and put it up against our current slay of the season from Gala. And again, I'm sorry, as much as I love these looks, they don't hold a candle to Miss Varro. So Gala's look is going to once again maintain that top spot going into episode, what is this, 10 next week? So we're getting really close to the end. I'm excited to see what comes next, who goes home next, how the challenge plays out, what the runway is, and get this season done and over with so I can get to drawing a look that probably is going to be Gallavaro. Let's be real. I'm just saying it now. We will see you on the next one. Be sure, as always, to like, comment, and subscribe for even more fashion-related coverage for every single season of Drag Race and Dracula, as well as some fun little Pokemon nerdy artsy things that'll be coming to the channel. We're gonna try out some new different types of videos and different types of content, things I just wanna make. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, oh well, I'm doing it anyway. But we will see you in the next one. Until then, be sure to go out there, stay kind, stay queer, and make sure that your day is very slay.